This is THV 11 News at 6. Live from Arkansas's streaming leader, this is THV 11 News at 6.
Good evening and thank you for watching THV 11 News at 6. I'm Brooke Buckner. We begin with a new civil lawsuit accusing a pastor at a North Little Rock church of sexual abuse. THV 11's Tanya Motorzitsky joins us in studio tonight with the details.
That's right, Brooke. Crimes the woman behind the case say began when she was a minor. The claims are serious, the timing is significant, and questions are now being raised about oversight and responsibility. A civil lawsuit filed last week in Pulaski County accuses longtime North Little Rock First Assembly of God pastor Rod Loy of sexually abusing a teenage church member that went back for more than a decade. The alleged victim, Suzanne Lander, says she was 16 years old when she met Loy. She claims he groomed her, buying her gifts, offering to pick her up from school events, using his position as a spiritual leader to influence her. The lawsuit claims the abuse happened at both the church and at Loy's home, where documents say the abuse started. Lander goes on to say he treated her like a daughter before he began touching her inappropriately, leading to the alleged rape. Loy and the church are denying these claims and say in a statement sent to THV 11, the church leadership takes accusations of this nature extremely seriously. The church board launched an internal investigation which found nothing to substantiate the claims. Documents say the lawsuit was filed under the Justice for Vulnerable Victims of Sexual Abuse Act law. The legislation passed in 2023 removed the statute of limitation and allowed 2 years for anyone under the age of 55 to come forward and file a lawsuit in civil court against the perpetrator. Lander's attorney says they're hoping for accountability, saying in part, Susie Lander has taken a courageous step forward to hold her perpetrator and the church that empowered him accountable. By filing this lawsuit, our client is sending a clear message. They can no longer evade responsibility, and the truth will finally come to light. The church also said they're prepared to defend Loy from the accusations. Now, we also checked in with North Little Rock Police Department, and they say they have no previous police reports filed against Loy. Back to you, Brooke.
All right, Tanya, thanks so much. Beautiful sunset out there over Arkansas tonight. A few high-level clouds interacting with, of course, that nice glow, the orange glow in the western sky. Have you noticed the sunset times have been getting a little bit later? In fact, they have. Today's sunset was 5:42. By the 23rd, they'll be at 6 o'clock, and daylight saving time begins on March the 8th. 7/11 will be the sunset. Getting a little extra daylight to enjoy, especially with the weather that's coming up in the next few days. Outside, though, temperatures are dropping off. Some colder air is spilled in. And lows tonight, early tomorrow, will bottom out in the 20s and low 30s. So we'll have to keep an eye on any patchy black ice on the roadways. We'll bottom out around 28 tomorrow morning here in Little Rock. Here are tonight's low temperatures, 20s and even 130 down in Texarkana, 32 for the low. Here's a look at your next 3 days. Again, more daylight to enjoy. Readings 54 tomorrow, 70 on Friday. Saturday not too bad. There'll be a weak boundary. And then we'll talk about the rest of the weekend and a look ahead. We need some rain. Got it in the forecast. I'll have details in just a few.
Thank you, Tom. The woman accused of murdering an Arkansas woman and her unborn child is pleading guilty. Amber Waterman making the decision today. This ends the state's case against her, where prosecutors were seeking the death penalty. Ashley Bush and her unborn baby died in 2022. According to court documents, she was abducted by Waterman at a gas station on a way to a job interview after making a fake Facebook profile. Later, Bush was taken to Waterman's home, where she was killed along with her baby. Waterman was sentenced to life in prison sentence in 2024, but she was never charged in that case. However, after a federal case concluded, a Benton County judge decided she could be tried for capital murder on the state level. Waterman will not be eligible for parole. A Fordyce man is facing sentencing for trafficking drugs. Eric Matlock will spend 10 years in federal prison for trafficking meth and cocaine. In February 2024, Dallas County Sheriff's Office discovered Matlock was a potential narcotics dealer. Later that year, a warrant was used to search his home, and that's where authorities found large amounts of meth, cocaine, and more than $3,000 in cash. In October 2024, Matlock was indicted by a federal grand jury in a 2-count indictment for possession with intent to distribute both. In August 2025, he pleaded guilty to the charges. A man is in police custody after a deadly weekend shooting in Fordyce. It happened Sunday, and authorities say Ladarius Deshaun Johnson of Pine Bluff is tied to the shooting and was arrested yesterday. This continues to be an open investigation. Stay with THV 11 as we learn more. Another man in Central Arkansas has been arrested in a separate homicide investigation, this one involving Leon Gomez. 26-year-old Anderson Fuentes has been charged with second-degree murder. Back in June, Little Rock police were called to a shooting at the 6800 block of Colonel Glenn Road. Once arriving to the scene, they found Gomez with a gunshot wound to the head. First responders tried to help him, but he was pronounced dead. Across the country, demonstrations like this one in Iowa are becoming more common. This is in response to the shooting deaths of both Renee Good and Alex Preddy by ICE agents. As we've been reporting, Renee Good was shot and killed last month and Preddy less than 2 weeks ago. Shouts in the streets of downtown Little Rock today as some students held their own protests against immigration enforcement. THV 11's Carter Thweet attended the demonstration and shares what students and the school had to say.
It was around 12:50 on Wednesday when students at Eastham High School in East Little Rock began to protest. A group of around 100 gathering in the school's courtyard and a smaller group of around 40 marching through downtown Little Rock.
It's never wrong to stand up for what you think is right and speak your mind and make sure you get your point across. You have rights.
The students were accompanied by Little Rock police officers, one of them telling me they just wanted to keep the students safe. Students chanted and waved signs, many of them using whatever materials they could find. While their methods were different, their message was the same.
We've seen white people, black people, Hispanic people, Asian people. We've seen everybody. We've seen everybody get affected by this.
Eastham isn't the only school that could see students walk out this week. Bryant School says they're aware of posts advertising a similar event on Thursday. In a Facebook post, administrators made it clear they do not endorse walkouts and expect students to remain in class. Meanwhile, Eastham's CEO said they don't have a position on the protests, but they support their students' interest in democracy.
Administration and the teachers were actually told to stay out of our way and let us do this. They had to act like they didn't want us to do it, but they let us out.
The Arkansas Access Act that Governor Sanders signed in 2025 also takes a position on this, saying students who engage in political protest can't get an excused absence for it. That didn't seem to matter much to these students.
It's scary that you can't even walk outside your house without being terrified of coming home or not. Even kids my age scared of their parents not coming home.
In Little Rock, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
Carter, thank you. Fayetteville students staged a similar protest earlier this week, and like Eastham, administrators made clear the students did it on their own, and those who left campus received unexcused absences. According to Eastham's handbook, students are permitted 8 unexcused absences a semester before punishment. A local politician is opening a new front in her efforts to win back the right to hold public office. Former Pulaski County Justice of the Peace, Christina Gulley, has been disqualified since 2022 after rivals exposed a past criminal conviction for floating a hot check. But recent rulings in similar court cases have her trying again. Last month, state rep candidate Missy Wardlaw managed to stay on next month's primary ballot despite a similar hot check in her past. Gulley is asking a different judge to reconsider her disqualification and let her run again. Western Arkansas is set to see a new federal judge after a Senate confirmation. David Clay Fowlks has been selected and confirmed to this position in the state's Western District. Fowlks was certified by a vote of 49-40 after President Donald Trump's nomination Monday. The Harrison native served as a deputy prosecuting attorney for Benton County and U.S. Attorney Office in Fort Smith. A Central Arkansas grocery store is temporarily closing because of the damage left behind from the winter storm. Brookshire's in Whitehall experienced some major issues with its roof, with the store claiming it's unsafe for customers. Repair work will soon begin. 2 other locations are still open, including Super One Foods in Pine Bluff and Spring Market in Redfield. Tonight, the city of Bryant is calling on people to give their input on plans to enhance quality of life in the city. It's called Bryant Leap Forward, and it will guide how the city develops over the next 25 years. Neighborhoods, transportation, and infrastructure are some of the biggest focuses. Mayor Chris Treat says even though it's only in the first phase, he wants to hear from the community right now through a survey.
Once every 20 years, you're going to get a shot at explaining the vision that you want for your city. So this doesn't come around that often. So get in there, share your voice, and then once they fill that survey out, then they'll get updates on the next phase of the plan, and so we can keep people engaged.
Central Arkansas is helping to fight food insecurity. How it will help those most needed next. And country superstar Tim McGraw is going on tour this summer, where he'll be heading in the natural state. Still ahead on THV 11 News at 6.
Wonder where we're heading? We're heading into the 60s and 70s down the road. Enough of that snow and ice. None of that in my forecast.
I hope not. Before we go to break, don't forget to catch THV 11's original streaming programming through our app. If you don't have it yet, feel free to download THV 11 Plus on Roku, Fire TV, or Apple TV.